KK's Priest, KK Downing, who spent about 35 years in Judas Priest, decided to go his own way a few years back and took Akron's own Ripper Owens with him. And the band is on tour and having a lot of fun. Return of the Sinner is the most recent album. That's the name of the tour, with special guests LA Guns and Burning Witches. It's an all-female metal band from Switzerland. We played them this past Saturday night on 2 Hours to Midnight. It's a great lineup. Wednesday, March 20th, the show goes down at the Agora. You can go to agoracleveland.com for the details. 2 tickets here for KK's Priest for the tour. Good luck. Call 216-578-1007 or 800-348-1007.
As soon as I can learn how to run a computer, I am starting an online petition to have Alan Cox taken off the air. So help me God, I'm having him taken off the air.
Can you feel the love tonight?
The Alan Cox Show
on 100.7
WMMS.
I forget how old this album is. Wildflowers from Tom Petty. It was his second solo album. It'll be 30 years old this November. I love it. Love this record. Remember playing it in the early days of my classic rock radio career when it was brand new. But you're playing new stuff by, older artists. And, of course, Tom Petty died a few years ago. How long did Tom Petty die?
It's been like 6 or 7 years.
I was going to say, it hadn't been 10 years yet, has it?
I don't think so.
All right.
I thought it was 2018, I want to say.
That sounds about right.
2018, 2019, maybe.
Heroin overdose. Anyway, they're putting together or they're getting ready to release a Tom Petty tribute album that sounds pretty cool. Did you ever get to see Tom Petty? Did you care? Were you a fan?
17. October 2nd.
Oh, he died in 2017.
So,
yeah. All right.
I never got to see him. I was going to a game at like a Guardians game, or Indians game then, and they were having the Tom Petty concert that night, and I was like, oh, maybe we should grab some tickets and go see that instead. But then me and my buddies ended up going to the game.
Yeah, I get it.
But hung out with people that were going to the concert before and after, and they said it was great. And now I kind of wish I had just gone and seen Tom Petty, because I listened to a lot of Tom Petty.
Yep. Saw him one time with the Black Crowes. Long time ago. Willie Nelson, the aforementioned, we were talking about Outlaw Country, or Outlaw Music Fest, rather, coming to Blossom this summer. Willie Nelson's on it, Dolly Parton. Some of the guys that used to play in the Heartbreakers. The first track is Dierks Bentley's cover of American Girl. That's his name, yeah? Dierks? Oh, because it's D-I-E.
Mm-hmm.
That looks like Dierks. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't Dirks have no E in it?
A lot of people spell names wrong. So.
But they're not wrong for them.
So then it's not Dierks.
I thought it was.
No, it's not.
It's not.
He's telling you it's not.
It's not Dierks Bartley. Oh, didn't the Guardians have a guy named Dierks Bartley that played for them for a while? Dierks Brantley.
There was
Michael
Brantley.
Michael Brantley. It sounds so similar to Dierks. Did we ever have a Dierks on local sports? Just a frame of reference for me.
A Dierks, maybe on the hockey team.
Yeah. Anyway, the Tom Petty tribute album is called Petty Country, which would be a great name for Poundcake's book, by the way. When he writes his autobiography, call it Petty Country. Just fantastic.
I like Tom Petty.
What's your favorite Tom Petty song?
I don't know, but I hear him on the radio, and I'm like, who is that? And they're like, Tom Petty.
You want to play Is It Tom Petty?
Sure.
That's live. I don't want to throw you off. No, that's a bad one, too, because it takes forever to get going.
Tom Petty.
Good job.
I just know, honestly, and you're going to call me a poser, but
No, I'm
You're
always.
not-
I always like when you know anything we're talking about.
it's
so.
the only song I know by him that I know is him is Free Fallin', and that was only because John Mayer covered it.
Amen.
So that's it, honestly. That's how I know who Tom Petty was. But there's every so often they'll play like a Tom Petty song on the radio, obviously, and I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound too awful bad. It doesn't make my ears bleed. He's a nice.
It doesn't make
artist.
my ears bleed.
He's a
Yeah.
nice artist.
All right. But Free Fallin' had been around for a long time before John Mayer covered it.
I never heard it until John Mayer covered it. I never.
Wow. I mean, Free Fallin's like been a radio hit for 30 years.
But the way John Mayer sung it, like it was. He just put some extra on it. I don't know what that little extra was, but he put his own little.
John Mayer.
Like, he's a good, and the way in his voice, it just sounds so hot. I'm like,
He
ooh.
still closes on that on tour, which is I don't personally like, but whatever you got to do, I guess.
Because it was
Yeah, because the only
flex.
versions of it I'm seeing are live.
That's what I'm
from
saying.
John
It's
Mayer.
It is live. It's
yeah,
really good.
it's a
That's the one that
flex.
he recorded and put out is from his Where the Light Is album.
Okay.
Live in
It gets
Los Angeles.
played on the radio as a live. I'm like, ooh.
So then how did you, does he shout out Tom Petty? How did you find out it was a Tom Petty song?
I think I said, what's your favorite John? Someone said, what's your favorite John Mayer song? And I was like,
Oh, no.
Free Fallin'.
Oh,
and they're like, you know, that's
no.
a cover, right? And I said, no, he didn't write that because, John Mayer's like a Grammy award-winning writer. Like, he wrote a lot of great songs. So I didn't think anything of it. And they were like, no, that's a Tom Petty song. I was like, oh.
Well, Petty Country, put that one in your back pocket.
I'll think about it. As long as I ain't got to pay nobody.
Yeah. All right. Would you know Last Dance with Mary Jane? MMS plays that quite a bit. Video had Kim Basinger in it back in the day.
I loved this song when I was a kid. This was like my introduction to Tom Petty because it will get played so much on VH1.
Yeah, right. Isn't he like dancing around with her? She's a
Yeah.
doll or something.
like
Like,
this was
like
in
a
a
dead
video
lady,
game.
yeah.
What, Cody?
I feel like this was in a video game.
In a video game. Yeah,
Like-
maybe.
Like Vice City or something like that.
Oh,
Probably,
maybe.
yeah.
They have a
I
lot of
always think
different.
This is Bob Dylan.
Because he kind of say, yeah,
Yeah.
he's got that.
Yeah,
Well, this is
right,
when
that's
they
all.
went to. This is the song that Tom Petty, I think, sued the Chili Peppers because they said Danny California. They
Yeah.
ripped off from Last Dance of Mary Jane. But I don't think it came to that. I think somebody might have put a bug in his ear and he's like, nah, let them do their thing. He was smart enough to know, Like there's a finite number of chords on. Anyway, I always think of American Girl because that's what the girl was singing in her car in Silence of the Lambs when she pulls over
Yeah.
because Buffalo Bill's got a broken down van and needs help getting the couch in there.
Great song.
She's singing American Girl in the car before she becomes abducted, ironically, as an American girl. Speaking of whom, you want a little Jenna to cleanse the palate?
Probably not, but let's go with it.
Gesundheit.
It's time for Sweet Nothings with Jenna from Poland.
Oh.
I want to change my name to Felicia.
This has been Sweet Nothings with Jenna from Poland.
Well, I hope you're taking notes. Change her name. From Jenna seems a more contemporary name than Felicia.
I just like one.
Bye, Felicia.
Bye, Felicia. Right. All right. Well, I hope I don't have to change that up to Felicia from Poland.
I met a very nice one of our customers named Felicia on Saturday when I did my gig in Youngstown.
Oh, good for you.
She was very excited.
Yeah.
She's a very sweet lady.
Yep.
And then
You say lady, that
I'm-
makes it sound like she's a little older.
she was.
Okay. And
But she was like, she's keeping it together.
I
She-
understand.
But she was a little older, probably. I don't want to guess. But then I met John.
where was this?
This was at Penguin City Brewing Company. They had a fundraiser that I was part of. And it was
But
John,
where,
the king of I-71,
Where was this?
Youngstown.
Oh, in Youngstown.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I met John's wife,
Mm-hmm.
the queen of I-71.
Yeah. Does he call her that?
He does now because I called.
I was gonna say
I was like, the queen, and he's like, yeah.
She's not out there riding shotgun though.
No, but
Yeah.
I mean, the title's.
I guess if she's married to
there,
the king, yeah. So how's he? Does he look like he sounds?
He does.
Okay.
He actually looks a lot like Mary's dad, but like a thin version of him, like a thinner.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Like so when I saw him, he's like, "Hey, I'm John." I'm like, "Hey, what's up, John?" So John, very nice guy. Lot of customers out there in Youngstown. So that was a really fun show. But that name Felicia.
And
stuck
what
out
did
to
she
me.
have to say to you?
She says she listens every single day, and she loves the show. Or she says, "I hate the show, love you guys."
But she enjoyed the program you guys were doing?
Yeah, it was a really fun show.
She liked your skits?
She likes my skits, and my jokies. I got a standing ovation, and I was hosting.
Hey! Good for
That's-
you.
Yeah.
Now, how does that come about?
I don't know. I just crushed it hard.
Wow.
Just crushed it hard with great jokes.
Good for you. What do you think about that, Mary? He got, was this a theater show? This is a brewery show.
The brewery show was a big. They had a great setup though. Like
Mary, didn't you get
Big
one in your
light-
farewell shows? People leapt to their feet, right?
Yes.
I did.
Yeah.
I know that. They couldn't. They kept asking me to sit down. They said, "Sir," because I was kind of in the middle of the room there. "Sir, please." I said, "Is this where I should stand for the ovation?" They said, "Not yet." She just got on stage, sir.
You stand the whole time.
The whole time I was.
That's how you mean it.
Yeah.
the whole
That's
time,
right.
or the one right next to it.
I want to go. I can't listen to him anymore.
Yeah, very fun show.
All right, good.
Ryan McNaughton, another fan of ours, he put the whole thing together, and it was to raise money for foster kids so they can buy the love that they don't get on their own.
Oh, not kids named Foster.
Yeah, right, correct.
Oh, I see. Okay.
No, just ones that-
What a very narrow fundraiser that would be.
Indeed.
I'm Fred Foster, and I need help. There's a girl on TikTok talking about, her name's Amber, and how her daughter told her that Amber is an old person's name.
Oh, God.
And this is where we are now, because names are relative, right?
Amber is a stripper name.
Huh?
I said Amber is a stripper name.
Well,
It used to be.
But to this
Yeah.
little girl, her mom is an old woman. So, you know.
Daughter told me the name Ashley or Amanda or my name is Amber are old people names, and I never thought about it this way, but she's like, yeah, my teachers' names are Miss Erica, Miss Samantha, whereas young people names, like my daughter is Scarlett, there's Charlotte's, there's Olivia, there's Penelope's, there's Isabella's, there's...
I think what's so funny about it,
Isabella's.
well, what's so funny about it, though, is the names that she thinks are young person's names because they're the little kids her age. All the parents grabbed old-timey names.
Yeah, because that was
That's why there's
trend.
4 billion
Yeah.
Bellas and Pearls and, you know. Amber's an old person's name. But again, it is all relative.
Nora's name's just Nora, right?
What do you mean?
Like, my niece is Eleonora.
Yeah, it's just
So-
Nora.
But they call
Yep.
her Nora.
Right, just Nora. But it's funny if your mom be like, Amber is an old person's name because I'm a little kid.
Bellas, there's Ellas. Those are young people names. For me, Ashley is always going to be like my friend from elementary, so it just seems like a kid name to me, but it's not. Ashley, Amanda, Amber, all of these names are basically the new Margaret or Barbara.
Yeah.
Margaret or Barbara, yep.
Because, I think of my niece's names, and it's actually all E names, but it's Evelyn, Eliza.
Wow. Evelyn.
Yeah.
That's a family
I
name.
have a
Elise.
niece named Evelyn. I think she's 12, maybe?
Are those family names?
No.
They just pulled Evelyn out of a hat.
That side of the family, they have stranger names. Like I have a nephew. Well, I guess it's my cousin's kids. So I don't know if those are my second cousins or whatever, but there's a Declan, McLean,
Well, they're Irish then.
Evelyn. No,
Irish?
Hungarian.
Declan.
Declan's just a cool name.
Yeah, okay.
I mean,
maybe it's an Elvis Costello fan.
her husband might be Irish. I don't know.
That's a name you give your kid when you're really into being Irish.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be funny. I can't wait. It's already kind of starting because there are so many young grandmothers. But I do love where we'll have the generation of like fully tatted grandma Ambers.
Well,
That'll be fun. I know
but
they're
here's
already
the thing.
kind of out there, but those are young grandmothers. I mean when
Young-
they're
young
in their
grandmas,
70s and
yeah.
80s.
But young grandmas have been a thing forever. They just looked like grandmas earlier because everybody looked like a grandma.
Because they were working hard.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
their 40s. I've been watching a bunch of old episodes of Cheers.
I just started watching Cheers, too.
I'm watching Cheers,
Yeah.
and You know how old Coach was when they started that show?
He was probably
58.
60. Oh, was he really?
He was 58, and he looked 90.
Well, because he only died a few years into that show, so he must have died young if he was in his early 60s.
Yeah, he was. Because I think he only did like 3 or 4 seasons.
Oh God.
Yeah, it looked rough, and all the women on that show when they're like, here's a real hottie coming in. I'm like, this lady looks. They just.
I wonder why
ram
that
it
is.
up real young.
I wonder why though. I wonder why he was 58 and looked like that.
But everybody looks old on that show.
That's what I mean.
You look at Norm and Cliff, and they were in their 30s on that show, and you never look at them and go, hey, there's a couple guys in their 30s.
Right. Yeah, Ted Danson would have been 35 on that show.
Mm-hmm.
Around there. Huh. Yeah. Well, anyway.
Rhea Perlman's 30 when that show started.
Rhea Perlman.
And they're like, she had 6 kids on the show.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. I mean, people weren't working the fields, by and large. I mean, you see like really old pictures, when the life expectancy was 32.
Right.
People looked old because they were just tired all the time. They were being aged by their lifestyle.
But also just fashion and stuff and hairdos. A lot of the hairdos were very unflattering.
There's a trend on TikTok right now of people using, it's called a Dyson Air Wrap, where it's like it gives you like looser curls, but they're using it on their toddlers who have shorter hair, and so they look like the Golden Girls. And it's my favorite thing on the planet because they're doing this air wrap on their toddler girls and then dressing them like old ladies.
Yeah,
and I love it so much.
That's hilarious.
It's the cutest thing on the planet.
But also, old ladies don't dress like they used to anymore either.
But what we think of.
It's like
Golden Girls.
I was going to say, it's like when people point out that the Golden Girls, I think, were like early 40s.
Yeah.
Oh, were they that old?
I think they were like in the early 50s,
Okay.
maybe late 40s, but they were not
But like
that
my age.
old. Yeah.
Yeah. Betty White, B. Arthur. Okay, so 1922. So they were like 60. I mean, B. Arthur, I think, might have been the oldest of them, but.
Wasn't the one who played like the 90-year-old mom? She was actually
the youngest. Yeah.
Yeah, Estelle Getty. Stop her, my mom will shoot. She was the youngest one of the group. They had to put her in an old lady wig, makeup. Didn't Poundcake do a Golden Girls song?
Thank you for being a friend. Thank you for being a friend.
So you've been doing some Cheers episodes too?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
What
was
season?
like, I want to go, huh?
What season are you in?
Started right from the front.
Oh, okay, you're right
Yep.
at the beginning. See, I jumped in a couple seasons because I've seen the first 2 or 3 seasons enough times. I'm like, okay, I kind of remember all these. So I jumped in the season 3 right when Frasier becomes more of a regular character.
Yeah, no, I watched it with my dad when I was younger. I mean, that's how I got into it at all. But I don't think I ever watched it like from the beginning. So I'm like, I'm going to turn on. It's like 1982. Is when it premiered. I was 10, 11.
I was
whatever.
a baby.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, baby.
I'm going to break here. You want to go to that Primus and Coheed and Cambria. You get all 3 bands on this bill. Primus and Coheed going to be doing Monday, August 5th, out at Blossom. And I'll get you a couple of tickets coming back. 35192 and a text for anything else, and we'll be back.
It's the Alan Cox Show. Everywhere on our free iHeartRadio.